Good morning, Patrick here from Complete Health. And I just want to ask the question, what is the actual function or what is the purpose of your spine? What is the function and what is the purpose of your spine? Now, when you really ask people this question, and I ask this to my patients all the time, and people will just look at you very blank, as if you're crazy. But when you really ask people, quite often people can't really answer the question. Now, there's really two main functions of the spine. There are probably multiples of functions of the spine, but the two main ones. One is the house for the central nervous system, and two is the major support beam of our body. So if you look at a spine, it is a hard, bony structure which can bend, flex, move, twist. But running down the middle of it is your spinal cord, and then exiting from the spine are your spinal nerves. So the primary function of your spinal column is to protect those soft, squishy nerves, because what we know is when they become compressed, they will create issues. So if we compress our spinal nerves or we can compress our spinal cord, it can result in anything from a minor to a very severe set of symptoms. And I can just use some examples because there's a lot of clients that will come into our clinic with sciatica, low back pain, weakness into the legs, pins and needles, but sometimes even stuff like digestion or bowel and bladder problems. Why? Especially with the nerves in the lower back that are exiting from the side of the spine. If these nerves become squashed, they can actually start to create symptoms with your digestive tracts, your bowels, and your bladder. Why? Because the signal coming from the brain down the spinal column, through the spinal cord, out through your spinal nerves will go to your bowels and your bladder. Because when you want to use the toilet, your brain has to send the signal from your bladder back up to the brain, and the bladder will say, I'm full. Brain will send a signal down and go, okay, I'm aware, let's go. And as a result, that's how the process starts to take place. We have a somewhat level of conscious control of our bowels and our bladder. However, if we start to compress and change the way that the spine works, those functions can disappear. So typically, if there is damage to the spine, it will result in some level of pain or symptom. Whatever that might be, it will completely depend on the nerve function. Now, the second part, like I said, is the major support beam of our body. In the same sense that we will put up the frame of a house before we build all the bricks and mortar. We will put up the tent pole and then put the canvas over on the tent. Why? Because they're the main support beams that you need to be up there first. But then all the muscles, the ligaments and the tendons can all start to attach into those areas so that we can start to gain function. So again, when we change the structure of this spine, we injure the structure of the spine, we start to injure the soft tissues that insert into them as well. So really simply, you can, when you look at posture on a client, or you look at x-rays on a client, or you look at alignment, or you look at nerve scans, essentially what you are assessing is the way that a person's brain, skeleton, and muscle system are working in congruity with each other in order to create the pattern for that person. So if we can see that someone's posture is collapsed, we know there's likely going to be some damage with their nervous system. We know there's potentially going to be some damage with the joints, and we know there's potentially going to be some muscle imbalances as well. So, like I say, purpose of the spine, two real main functions: protect the spinal cord, and it's the main support beam of your body. If you ever need any more advice, guys, we've got so much information on our YouTube channel. We've got tons of videos that you can scroll back through our Facebook, but also equally you can just send a very simple private message to this page, and we're always willing to answer any questions. Take care for now. Patrick here from Complete Health, and we'll speak to you again soon.